The alien fleet had retreated. For the first time since the Empire's arrival, Earth was quiet. But the quiet was not relief, it was anticipation. Commander Alina Reyes knew the Empire was not defeated. They had underestimated humanity once and they might strike again. Yet for the first time humans felt a new sense of power. They had survived, adapted, and proven that intelligence, courage, and unity could turn even the direst situations into victories. The damage to Earth was still visible. Cities bore the scars of the battle. Communication networks needed repairs and thousands had been injured. Yet humans were not broken. From the ruins, people rebuilt. Engineers, scientists, and volunteers worked tirelessly to restore infrastructure. Soldiers patrolled the skies, ready to respond to any further threats. Humanity had learned that survival required more than bravery. It required collaboration, innovation, and hope. Alina stood on the observation deck of the ISS, looking at the alien fleet's retreating silhouettes in space. She felt a mixture of exhaustion and determination. The battles had been costly, but they had revealed a truth the Empire could not ignore. Humans were not simple prey. They were clever, resourceful, and unyielding. "We've shown them what we can do," she said quietly to her team. "But we must send a message they will never forget. Humanity will not just survive, we will echo across the galaxy." Her plan was ambitious. Using advanced satellites, repurposed spacecraft, and human ingenuity, they would broadcast a final message into deep space. It would not be a threat, but a declaration of existence, a statement that Earth's people were intelligent, courageous, and capable of shaping their own destiny. It would carry images, stories, art, and messages of defiance and hope. Daniel Kim, still exhausted from the previous battles, worked alongside engineers to prepare the transmissions. "It's amazing," he said. "We're sending our story into the stars. They might see our courage, our ingenuity, even our failures, and they will know we are not to be underestimated." The broadcasts began. Signals carrying images of Earth's landscapes, human achievements, and accounts of the recent battles streamed into space. Messages of courage and unity were encoded into every transmission. Music, art, and literature followed, showing that humans were more than warriors. They were thinkers, creators, and explorers. The Empire received the signals with confusion. Their sensors were designed to detect threats, but these transmissions were different. They were not just signals, they were echoes of a species that refused to be broken. Some lower-ranking officers paused, curious. Others debated the meaning of the broadcasts, realizing that Earth's people were more than a simple civilization. The echoes spread doubt, fear, and for the first time respect among alien ranks. Meanwhile, humanity continued to prepare for the possibility of the Empire's return. The lessons learned from the previous battles guided every decision. Communication networks were strengthened, defenses were reinforced, and civilian participation increased. Humanity had learned that survival depended not only on strategy and courage, but also on unity and creativity. Alina addressed the world once more. "People of Earth, today we send our message to the stars. We do not seek conquest, but we declare our presence. We are clever, we are resilient, and we will continue to thrive. Our story is our weapon, and it will echo across the galaxy for generations to come." The broadcast spread across Earth first, reaching every home, school, and workplace. People paused to watch, listen, and reflect. Tears of relief, pride, and hope filled the eyes of many. Humanity had not just survived. The species had made a statement, proving that even in the face of overwhelming power, courage and ingenuity could shine. The alien fleet, observing from afar, began to reconsider its approach. The Empire's commanders realized that Earth was not simply a planet to be conquered, but a symbol of resilience and intelligence. Their calculations, which had assumed human submission, were flawed. Humanity had proven that it could adapt, innovate, and fight back in ways the aliens could not predict. For the first time, the Empire hesitated. Ships paused, formations broke, and commanders debated their next move. Humanity's echoes had reached further than physical strikes could. They had planted doubt, curiosity, and a new respect for a species that refused to be underestimated. On Earth, civilians continued to contribute to the effort in quiet, powerful ways. Engineers repaired damage, students ran simulations, and volunteers provided aid to affected areas. The planet's people had become a force greater than any single weapon. Their courage, unity, and creativity were humanity's true power. Daniel Kim reflected on their journey. "We've changed something," he said to Alina as they watched the signals continue into space. "They'll never see us the same way again. And maybe other species will take notice too." Alina nodded, her eyes fixed on the distant stars. "They'll remember us," she said, "not just as survivors, but as a species that refused to be broken. Every human life, every act of courage has sent a message that cannot be erased. We are here, and we will leave echoes across the galaxy that endure far beyond any battle." As the transmissions continued, humanity reflected on what had been learned. Survival required more than strength. It required ingenuity, courage, and unity. The Empire had underestimated humans, but now the galaxy knew the truth. Earth's people were resourceful, intelligent, and unyielding. The final moments of Part 5 were quiet, almost serene. On Earth, people looked to the stars, feeling connected to the vast galaxy beyond. They had faced an overwhelming enemy, survived impossible odds, and made their presence known. The echoes of humanity's courage, intelligence, and creativity were now carried across the stars, ensuring that Earth's story would resonate long after the battle had ended. Commander Reyes reflected on the journey from the first alien arrival to this moment. The road had been difficult, marked by fear, sacrifice, and determination. Yet humanity had prevailed, not because of superior technology alone, but because of its spirit. Every soldier, scientist, volunteer, and civilian had contributed. Every act of courage, every creative strategy had left an imprint on the galaxy, and that imprint would not fade. Somewhere in the distant reaches of space, alien officers observed the final transmissions. Some were puzzled, others hesitant. They could not fully comprehend the meaning, yet they felt the impact. Humanity had sent a message that no weapon could deliver, that courage, intelligence, and unity could challenge even the most powerful force in the galaxy. Back on Earth, life began to return to normal. Cities were rebuilt, communication networks restored, and people resumed daily routines. Yet nothing would ever be quite the same. Humanity had learned its own strength, discovered its ingenuity, and proven its resilience. Alina Reyes watched from the ISS as the sun rose over Earth, casting golden light across oceans and cities. She thought of the challenges ahead, knowing the Empire might return one day, yet she also knew something more profound. Humanity had found its voice, its unity, and its courage. That voice, carried through the echoes sent across the galaxy, would never be silenced. In the end, Earth had survived and humanity had triumphed, not by might alone, but by spirit. They had fought together, adapted, and shown the galaxy that even the smallest species could leave a lasting impact. The echoes continued to travel through space, carrying messages of courage, creativity, and defiance. They were more than signals, they were a testament to humanity's resilience, a reminder that no force could ever fully suppress the ingenuity and spirit of a species determined to survive. And as Earth's people looked to the stars, they knew this truth: humanity's story was just beginning. The galaxy would remember their courage, their intelligence, and their unity. They had survived the Empire's might, sent a message that would resonate for generations, and proven that humans were a force not to be underestimated. Humanity had left its first echo across the stars, and it would not be the last. The galaxy had not seen the warship Aegis for 11 long years. When it vanished, humanity mourned it as lost forever. The crew, led by the brave Captain Leora Vance, had embarked on a deep space mission to explore uncharted regions beyond the known galaxy. Their mission had been critical: to find new technologies, new allies, and to protect humanity from threats that might lurk in the dark corners of space. But then the warship disappeared. No message, no signal, just silence. For a decade, the Aegis was a ghost story among the stars. Stories told in quiet corners of space stations spoke of bravery, tragedy, and mystery. Some said the ship was destroyed by cosmic storms. Others whispered about alien traps. Governments and galactic alliances gave up hope. Humanity mourned but continued its journey through the stars, always wondering what had become of its lost champions. Then, on a quiet morning near the outer rim of the galaxy, a signal appeared. It was faint but unmistakable. The Aegis was coming back. The Star Command officers at the Galactic Hub stared in disbelief as the massive silhouette of the warship emerged from a shimmering nebula. Its hull gleamed differently than it had 11 years ago. It was stronger, sleeker, and marked with intricate patterns that seemed alien in origin. Lights pulsed across its surface, not human lights, yet unmistakably alive. "Is that real?" whispered Commander Tarek, his voice trembling. He had only been a junior officer when the Aegis disappeared. "It can't be." Captain Vance, now aged just a little thanks to the ship's cryostasis systems, stepped onto the bridge from the transporter. Her eyes were sharp, calculating, yet calm. The years in stasis had given her time to rest, but the mission had never left her mind. She had seen the edge of space, faced unknown dangers, and now, 11 years later, she was back. The galactic leaders demanded immediate communication. "This is Commander Tarek of the Galactic Hub," he said into the transmitter. "Aegis, identify yourself. Repeat, identify yourself." The response was simple and chilling. "We return with a warning. The galaxy is in danger. Prepare." Silence followed the message. "Prepare? For what?" asked Admiral Wren, his voice shaky. But no one had the answer. Vance stood tall. "We know what to do. The galaxy is threatened by something that destroys stars, systems, entire galaxies. We were sent to study it, and now it is here." Murmurs ran through the room. A threat capable of destroying galaxies? Surely humans were not ready. The alien alliances were skeptical, even frightened. Yet the Aegis and its crew had returned, and humanity had a chance. Inside the warship, the crew slowly awakened from cryostasis pods. Their muscles ached. Their senses felt strange after the long sleep, but their minds were sharp. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, all were ready for what awaited them. Taro, the youngest engineer, rubbed his eyes as he surveyed the alien modifications on the ship's interior. "What happened to us while we were gone?" he asked, voice tinged with awe. The familiar hallways of the Aegis now glowed with a light he had never seen. Panels hummed with energy, and strange geometric shapes floated near the walls, seemingly powered by some unknown source. Lieutenant Kara, the ship's tactical officer, shook her head. Whatever it was, it upgraded the ship while we slept. Faster engines, stronger shields, energy weapons, even some kind of advanced AI system integrated with the ship. Vance nodded. "Yes, and now we must use it. The galaxy depends on it." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The Aegis drifted past clusters of familiar constellations. Yet some regions were unfamiliar, warped or glowing strangely. Taro moved toward the navigation console. "Captain, the maps are changing. The stars themselves, they don't look right." Vance approached him, her eyes narrowing. "That's the edge of the Oblivion's reach. Entire systems vanish. Light itself is being erased. We must proceed carefully. One wrong move, and we could disappear too." The ship's AI, a quiet but ever-present presence named Orion, spoke for the first time. "Captain Vance, preliminary scans indicate a pattern in the destruction. The Oblivion adapts. It learns, it evolves. Traditional weapons will not work." Vance's jaw tightened. "Then we must be smarter than it. Humans survive by thinking, adapting, and creating solutions where none seem possible. We'll find a way." Meanwhile, the galactic authorities continued to watch from the Galactic Hub. Many were anxious. Some sent fleets to intercept the Aegis, worried humans might claim the alien technology as their own. Others tried to negotiate. But Vance ignored the political threats. Her mission was simple: locate the Oblivion and stop it before it consumed more star systems. As the Aegis left the nebula and entered deep space, the crew began exploring the ship. The alien upgrades were everywhere. Weapon systems capable of manipulating energy fields, shields that could bend light and gravity around the ship, a propulsion system that allowed near-instantaneous jumps across light years. The ship was no longer merely human. It had become something greater, something capable of standing against cosmic annihilation. Captain Vance called her senior officers to the bridge. "Listen carefully. 11 years ago, we left this galaxy to study what might destroy civilizations. We found it. But it found us first. Now we return with knowledge, power, and strategy. Our mission is the same, but the stakes are higher. We will face the Oblivion, and humanity will survive. Not because we are stronger, but because we never give up." Lieutenant Kara clenched her fists. "We're ready, Captain. Let's show the galaxy what humans can do." Taro's eyes sparkled. "It's amazing. The ship itself is alive in a way I can't explain. I think it's helping us, waiting for us to lead." Vance smiled faintly. Then lead we shall. Prepare for the first jump. We enter the regions of disappearing stars. Stay alert, stay human, stay alive. The engines roared to life, alien energy flowing through circuits that had once been purely human. The ship jumped through space, vanishing from the sensors of the watching fleets. Only the Aegis crew knew where it went, and only they could face what awaited them. As the stars stretched and blurred around them, the crew could feel the weight of their mission. 11 years lost, 11 years forgotten, yet now the warship and its humans returned to protect the galaxy. And somewhere, far beyond the reach of known space, the Oblivion stirred. It had felt the humans' return, sensed their renewed power, and it was learning. Captain Vance gazed forward, eyes reflecting the distant glow of uncharted stars. "Let it come," she whispered. "We are humans. We adapt, we survive, and we will not fail." The Aegis sailed into the unknown, carrying humanity's hope, courage, and brilliance across the endless darkness. The first chapter of their renewed mission had begun. The Aegis moved silently through uncharted space. Stars stretched like silver threads against the black canvas of the galaxy. Inside, the crew explored the ship, marveling at what had happened while they were in cryostasis. Taro, the young engineer, ran his hands along the walls of the engine room. Panels pulsed with a strange blue light. "This isn't just a human ship anymore," he muttered, almost to himself. "It's alive in a way I've never seen." Lieutenant Kara leaned against a console, her eyes scanning the readouts. "The upgrades are incredible. Shields stronger than anything we've ever built. Weapons that manipulate energy fields. Even propulsion systems that can bend space around us. It's like someone or something gave this ship a new life." Captain Leora Vance entered the room, her expression calm but focused. "We were sent into the unknown for a reason. Whoever or whatever modified this ship knew what we would face. That knowledge is now ours to use." Taro's fingers traced the interface of a floating holographic module. The module flickered and shifted as if responding to his touch. "Captain, I think the AI integrated itself with this system while we were asleep. It's not just controlling the ship, it's learning with us." Vance nodded. "Good, learning is what humans do best. Adaptation is our strength. We will use this advantage against the Oblivion." The crew gathered in the main briefing room. Holographic star charts glimmered above the table, showing vast sectors of space that no one had ever charted. Entire systems had vanished in strange patterns, leaving only faint distortions where stars once shone. "The Oblivion," Vance said, her voice steady, "is not just a force of destruction. It adapts, it evolves, it consumes everything in its path, and it learns from what it encounters. But we have the same ability. We observe, we plan, we create solutions when none seem possible. That is what makes humans unstoppable." The galactic authorities continued to monitor the Aegis. Messages arrived constantly, some demanding that the humans hand over the alien technology. Others offered assistance, fearing the humans might face the threat alone. But Vance ignored the political concerns. "We do not negotiate with fear. Our mission is clear." Taro moved to a concealed panel in the lower deck. "Captain, I found something unusual," he said, opening a compartment that had no prior marking. Inside was a small device glowing with soft green energy. Symbols, unlike any human language, floated above it. Vance examined it. "This may be a key to understanding the upgrades, or a part of the alien technology that modified the ship. Either way, it could help us survive what's coming." Kara frowned. "Do we know who did this? Or why?" Vance shook her head. "Not yet. But whoever it was, they trusted humans with this power. That's enough for now. We use it wisely." The crew split into teams to test the upgrades. In the simulation rooms, energy fields bent and flowed according to their commands. Weapons fired controlled beams of light that could reshape energy patterns in space. Shields adjusted themselves automatically to incoming threats. Even navigation systems predicted cosmic anomalies and avoided them before they became dangerous. Taro stood in front of the alien module, eyes wide. "It's like the ship itself is alive. It responds to thought, intuition, even emotions. If we trust it, it can guide us to safety and victory." Meanwhile, on the observation deck, Captain Vance looked out at the endless stars. "We are not just humans," she said softly. "We are humans with knowledge, courage, and technology that can protect entire civilizations. That is our advantage." Weeks passed as the crew trained, explored, and understood the Aegis's new systems. They learned to manipulate energy currents to their advantage, to bend light to hide their movements, and to communicate with distant civilizations in ways never thought possible. The ship became a living extension of their skill, strategy, and creativity. One day, the ship's sensors detected a faint anomaly at the edge of a dying star cluster. Energy distortions rippled through space, and a shadow seemed to move across the stars. The crew held their breath. "It's the Oblivion," Kara said, her voice low. "It's learning, just as we predicted. But we are ready. We have knowledge, and we have the ship. We can survive this." Vance approached the holographic display. "We need to understand it. Not attack blindly. Observe patterns, study behavior, and predict its next move. That is how humans win. That is how we protect the galaxy." Taro adjusted the module he had found earlier. Symbols shifted, revealing a pattern of energy flows. "Captain, I think this is a map. Not of stars, but of energy. Of how the Oblivion moves. It's a guide, maybe left for us to learn from." Vance's eyes narrowed. "Then we follow it carefully, step by step. Humanity survives not by rushing blindly, but by thinking ahead. That is our greatest strength." As the Aegis prepared to leave the dying star cluster, alarms suddenly blared. A field of floating energy fragments blocked their path. Each fragment pulsed with power, remnants of civilizations that had fallen to the Oblivion. The fragments seemed alive, reacting to the ship's presence. Kara's hands flew over the console. "Captain, the fragments are forming a barrier. They're not just debris, they're defensive. We need to find a way through without triggering a chain reaction." Vance nodded. "Then we observe, we adapt. We find a solution. That is what humans do." Taro's eyes widened. "I can reroute the ship's energy to create a temporary shield that harmonizes with the fragment's energy. It will let us pass without conflict," Vance smiled. "Do it and record everything. We need to understand everything we encounter. Knowledge is power, especially against an enemy like the Oblivion." The ship hummed with new energy as the shield activated. Light flowed across the fragments, weaving a path of safety. Slowly, the Aegis passed through the deadly field, unharmed. The crew cheered quietly, not from excitement, but from relief and renewed confidence. On the bridge, Vance looked at her crew. "This is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of dangers, but we are human. We adapt, we survive, and we will not fail." As they moved further into uncharted space, the crew discovered more upgrades. Alien technology integrated seamlessly with human engineering. Systems that could predict cosmic anomalies, shields that could withstand the force of collapsing stars, and propulsion capable of near-instantaneous jumps. The ship had become more than a warship. It was a guardian of civilizations, a beacon of hope. Night after night, as the Aegis sailed through the darkness, Taro studied the alien module. Slowly, he realized it was not just a tool, it was a teacher. It taught him patterns, energy flows, and logic that no human mind could have invented alone. The ship itself, guided by this knowledge, was preparing them for the ultimate confrontation. Kara trained with weapons simulations, learning to integrate human tactics with alien strategies. The AI, Orion, offered insights, predicting threats and providing solutions. Each crew member became more than a soldier or engineer. They became a human capable of thinking like the universe itself. Finally, Captain Vance gathered the crew on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly, some bright and alive, others dimmed or missing entirely. "We are approaching the first major anomaly caused by the Oblivion," she said. "It is a test, a challenge, but we have the knowledge, the ship, and the will to overcome it. Humanity survives by courage, by intelligence, and by heart. That is our advantage, and it will never fail." The crew nodded, understanding the weight of their mission. The Aegis was no longer a lost ship returning from the void. It was humanity's hope. A symbol of what humans could achieve when they combined courage, intellect, and determination. As the first tendrils of the Oblivion's energy field appeared on the sensors, Captain Vance whispered to herself, "This is only the beginning. The galaxy will see what humans are capable of." The Aegis sailed forward, its engines humming with alien and human power, ready to face the unknown. And somewhere, far beyond the reach of known civilizations, the Oblivion was waiting, learning, and preparing to test humanity. But the humans aboard the Aegis were ready. They had knowledge, they had courage, and they had the greatest weapon of all, the unbreakable human spirit. The Aegis moved deeper into uncharted space. leaving familiar stars and systems behind. Outside, nebulae glowed with colors the human eye had never seen, and cosmic storms twisted the light of distant suns into strange, almost alien patterns. The crew felt a mix of awe and tension. They knew that in these unknown regions dangers lurked that no one had faced before. Captain Leora Vance stood on the observation deck, her hands resting lightly on the railing. "We are beyond the maps, beyond what anyone has charted. This is where humanity earns its place among the stars," she said. Her voice was calm, but every word carried authority and determination. Lieutenant Kara beside her studied the readings on a floating display. "Sensors are picking up unusual energy fluctuations ahead. It's hard to describe. The stars themselves seem to be bending." Taro, who had been working on the alien module, joined them. "I think the Oblivion has been here," he said. "Whatever it is, it leaves a mark on space itself. Systems vanish, but their energy lingers, twisted." Vance nodded. "Then we proceed with caution. Observe first, act second." Humanity survives by thinking, adapting, and staying one step ahead. The ship entered a star cluster that had been recently destroyed. Remnants of planets floated in chaotic orbits, and fragments of stars glimmered weakly in the darkness. Energy ripples moved through the cluster as if space itself was in pain. Kara frowned. "This is worse than we imagined. The Oblivion doesn't just destroy, it erases. Systems, planets, civilizations, gone, leaving only this chaos." Taro adjusted the alien module, which pulsed softly. "Captain, I can use this to map the energy patterns. If we study them, we might predict where the Oblivion will strike next." Vance's eyes narrowed. "Do it. Knowledge is our greatest weapon. The more we understand, the better we can protect the galaxy." As the Aegis moved carefully through the cluster, the crew encountered remnants of automated defense systems from long-lost civilizations. Machines powered by unknown technology hovered in space, attacking anything that came near. They had once defended their worlds, but now, without their creators, they were dangerous and unpredictable. "Shields up," Kara shouted. Energy pulses struck the hull, testing the new upgrades. The ship held steady, bending light and gravity around itself, absorbing the force. Taro worked quickly, rerouting power to adapt the shields to the new energy signature. "We can pass, but only if we move carefully. The systems are learning too. They react to what we do." Vance gave the command, and the Aegis moved through the defense systems like a thread through a needle. Every movement was precise, every calculation careful. Human ingenuity and the ship's alien-enhanced systems worked together perfectly, demonstrating the adaptability that had kept humanity alive for thousands of years. Once through, the crew took a moment to breathe. The cluster behind them was chaotic, a reminder of the dangers they faced, but also proof that they could survive where others had failed. Taro studied the alien module again. "Captain, I think I understand part of it. The patterns, they show how the Oblivion moves, how it adapts. If we follow this, we can stay ahead, at least for now." Vance placed a hand on the module. "Then we follow it, carefully. Humanity survives by patience and planning. Never forget that." Days passed as the Aegis journeyed further. The crew faced cosmic storms, where lightning-like energy arcs danced across space, threatening to tear the ship apart. They navigated asteroid fields where gravity shifted unpredictably. Every challenge tested their skill, their courage, and their understanding of the alien technology. Yet with every obstacle, the humans adapted. Taro discovered that by combining the ship's propulsion system with the alien module, they could stabilize regions of space that would normally be deadly. Kara developed strategies for moving through energy fields without triggering defenses, and Captain Vance guided them with the experience of a leader who had faced impossible odds before. One evening, as the stars outside shimmered in eerie colors, the ship's sensors detected a faint signal. A surviving vessel, barely functional, floated in the void. Its hull was scarred, and it bore the marks of the Oblivion's destruction. "Rescue mission," Kara said immediately. "We can't leave them," Vance nodded. "Prepare the boarding team. Humanity doesn't abandon its own or anyone in need. This is who we are." The boarding team carefully approached the derelict ship. Inside, they found a small crew of aliens, frightened but alive. The humans offered medical help, food, and reassurance. In return, the aliens provided information about what they had seen. "They came without warning," one alien explained. "Entire systems disappeared. Planets gone. Nothing we could do stopped it. We ran, but we know it will return." Vance listened intently. "We have seen this before. And now we have knowledge, power, and strategy. We will stop it." You will not face it alone. The rescued crew joined the Aegis, bringing their knowledge and hope. It was a small victory, but it strengthened the humans' resolve. Every life saved was a reminder of what they were fighting for, not just survival, but protection of all civilizations. As the Aegis moved forward, the ship's AI Orion spoke quietly to Vance. "Captain, we are approaching a region where energy distortions are increasing rapidly. The Oblivion is near. It is aware of us." Vance's eyes hardened. "Then it's time. Prepare the ship and crew. We are ready." The humans activated systems that had never been tested in real combat. Energy fields rippled across the hull. Weapon systems hummed with power, and the ship seemed to pulse with life. The alien module guided the humans, revealing weak points in the patterns of energy around them, showing how to navigate, and even suggesting strategies to protect the rescued allies. As the first tendrils of the Oblivion's influence appeared, the crew held their positions. They felt the darkness pressing against them, the weight of a force capable of erasing entire galaxies. Yet they did not falter. Humans adapt. Humans survive. Humans fight with intelligence, courage, and unity. Taro adjusted the module one last time. "Captain, we can predict its next move. We can stay one step ahead if we act together." Vance nodded. "Then we act. All of you, trust your training, trust the ship, and trust each other. Humanity's greatest strength is its spirit. That is what will see us through." The Aegis moved boldly into the heart of the anomaly. Energy waves shimmered around them, twisting space and light. Automated defenses from lost civilizations activated, but the humans navigated flawlessly. The alien technology responded to their commands, bending energy to protect and guide them. Hours passed, each moment filled with tension, observation, and adaptation. Finally, the ship reached a stable zone where the energy distortions were concentrated. Here the humans could study the Oblivion's patterns more closely, preparing for the battles that lay ahead. Vance looked at her crew, her expression steady. "We have survived the first step. We have learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Humanity faces the unknown, and we will not fail. This is who we are. This is what we do." The Aegis floated in the center of the energy distortions, a beacon of human courage and ingenuity. Around them, the galaxy stretched endlessly, filled with both danger and possibility. The crew prepared for the challenges ahead, knowing that the survival of countless civilizations depended on their skill, intelligence, and unbreakable human spirit. And far beyond the edges of sensors and reality, the Oblivion waited, watching, learning, and preparing for humanity's next move. But the humans aboard the Aegis were ready. They had knowledge, they had courage, and most importantly, they had the unyielding spirit that made humans capable of facing the impossible and winning. The Aegis drifted into a darkened sector of space where stars shimmered faintly, almost as if they were holding their breath. Energy ripples danced through the void, twisting light in unnatural patterns. Captain Leora Vance stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the readouts. "This is it," she said quietly. "The region where the Oblivion has prepared to consume multiple systems. The test begins." Lieutenant Kara adjusted the ship's sensors. "Captain, energy readings are off the charts. It's like nothing we've ever seen. The distortions are enormous and they're spreading fast." Taro, working at the navigation console, added, "The alien module shows patterns again. We can predict some of the movements, but the Oblivion adapts constantly. We must act quickly and carefully." Vance nodded. "We do not panic. We observe, we plan. Humanity survives because we think, because we adapt, and because we never give up. We will face this threat together." As the Aegis approached the outer edge of the dangerous sector, they encountered the first signs of the Oblivion's destructive power. Entire star systems had vanished, leaving behind distorted energy fields that bent space and time around them. Planets were reduced to fragments, and the remnants of civilizations floated as glowing debris. "This is worse than anything the galaxy has seen," Kara said, her voice tense. "We must move carefully." Vance looked out at the chaos. "Yes, but we are not here to panic. We are here to protect. Every life we save, every star system we defend, that is what makes us human. That is why we survive." The ship's AI, Orion, projected a simulation on the bridge. Energy waves moved in complex patterns, showing the Oblivion's influence on nearby systems. "Captain, these patterns indicate weak points," it said. If we position the Aegis correctly, we can slow the spread and contain the energy distortions. Taro's eyes lit up. I can adjust the module to amplify the ship's energy field. It could stabilize the local space long enough for us to study the Oblivion's behavior. Vance smiled faintly. Do it. Humanity survives by taking bold steps, but bold steps must be guided by intelligence. The Aegis moved carefully into position. Energy flowed around the ship as the shields and alien technology synchronized with the module. Light bent around them, creating a safe zone in the heart of the destruction. The crew held their positions, working as one. Every calculation, every adjustment, every strategy relied on human ingenuity and teamwork. Suddenly, the distortions reacted. Shadows of energy formed into shapes. Remnants of destroyed starships twisted and controlled by the Oblivion. They moved to intercept the Aegis. Shields to maximum, Kara shouted. These remnants are attacking us. Taro adjusted the energy module. Pulses of synchronized light deflected the attacks, bending the hostile energy away from the ship. It's working, he said. The ship responds to us. We can defend ourselves. Vance took a deep breath. Good. Keep focus. We observe, we learn, and we act. This is a battle of intelligence as much as strength. That is humanity's advantage. The crew of the Aegis began to notice patterns. The Oblivion's attacks were relentless but predictable if observed carefully. The humans combined human intuition with the alien technology, creating a dance of defense and countermeasures. Every move slowed the spread of destruction and protected nearby systems. Hours passed and the ship remained steady. The crew's efforts had created a zone of safety, a small pocket where life could continue. But Captain Vance knew this was only temporary. The Oblivion was intelligent. It would adapt. It would learn from them. Prepare a plan for containment, she ordered. We cannot destroy it, it is too vast. But if we can trap it, even temporarily, we can protect the galaxy. Kara leaned over her console. We can manipulate the energy distortions using the ship's power. If we form a loop, we might be able to contain the entity in a controlled zone. Taro's hands moved quickly over the alien module. I can enhance the shields and energy fields to create a loop. The ship will act as the anchor, and the distortions will circle around us instead of spreading. Vance nodded. Then we do it. Trust the technology, trust each other, and trust our minds. Humans survive where others fail because we never stop thinking. The Aegis moved into position, engines humming with combined human and alien energy. The distortions formed around the ship like flowing rivers of light and shadow. With careful adjustments, Taro and Kara guided the energy into a controlled loop. The ship pulsed with power, bending the forces around it, containing the chaos. Orion spoke calmly. Energy stabilization at 75%. Loop integrity holding. The entity is contained temporarily. Observation and adjustments required. Vance allowed herself a small smile. Well done. But remain vigilant. This is only the beginning. The galaxy depends on our next steps. As the humans worked, they discovered more about the Oblivion. It was not just a force, it had a pattern, a method. It learned from every encounter, adapting to attacks, defenses, and strategies. But humans were learning too. With each move, they understood more. They were not just surviving. They were outsmarting a force that had destroyed entire civilizations. Hours turned into days. The crew of the Aegis monitored the loop, keeping the Oblivion contained while studying its behavior. They discovered weak points, moments when it hesitated, and energy flows that could be redirected. The humans combined observation, alien technology, and human ingenuity to strengthen the containment zone. During a quiet moment, Vance spoke to her crew. This is what makes us human. We face what others fear. We adapt, learn, and create solutions when none exist. The galaxy will see that humanity does not surrender. Humanity protects, endures, and thrives, Kara nodded. And we're just getting started. We've learned so much in such a short time. If we keep observing and adjusting, we can hold it, maybe even drive it back. Taro looked at the module, which pulsed softly. It's teaching us more every day. I think we're learning faster than it expects. The ship, the AI, and our minds together, we're becoming something greater than before. Vance's eyes shone with determination. Exactly. And that is why humanity survives. Not because we are the strongest, but because we are resourceful, intelligent, and never give up. That is our greatest weapon. Suddenly, the energy distortions shifted. The Oblivion seemed aware of their strategy. Shadows moved faster, Shapes formed with intent and the pressures on the containment loop increased. "Brace for impact," Kara warned. "It's testing us, probing our defenses." Vance's voice was steady. "Hold the line. Observe carefully. Adjust continuously and act with precision. Remember who we are. Humanity does not falter." The crew worked tirelessly, coordinating shields, energy flows, and the alien module. The Aegis pulsed with life, responding to each movement of the Oblivion. Slowly, the Force adapted to human strategy, but humans adapted faster. Every adjustment, every prediction, every act of ingenuity kept the containment intact. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the energy distortions stabilized. The Oblivion remained contained, at least for the moment. The crew allowed themselves a moment of relief, but they knew the battle was far from over. Vance stood on the bridge looking at the glowing containment zone. "We have proven that humans can face the impossible. We have shown that intelligence, courage, and unity can protect the galaxy. But we must remain vigilant. The next move will come and we must be ready." The crew nodded. They were tired, but they were stronger, wiser, and more united than ever. The Aegis had survived its first major confrontation, proving that humans could face a threat that no one else dared confront. As the ship sailed forward, the stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of both danger and possibility. Humanity had faced the Oblivion and survived, not through brute force, but through intelligence, courage, and the unbreakable human spirit. And somewhere, far beyond the reach of sensors, the Oblivion watched, learned, and prepared for its next encounter with the humans who would not surrender. But the humans aboard the Aegis were ready. They had knowledge. They had courage. And most importantly, they had the human spirit. The one force that no galaxy-devouring entity could ever truly destroy.